Hi, beautiful beings under the stratosphere. Welcome to Emotional Crisis Control number 7. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You are doing great. You might be on day 7 of your week or just on the 7th stair that you've been progressing all the way since number 1. And that's fantastic to make it this far. After the pause, which is number 6, the power of this pause during this time, you were trying to just stay neutral about everything. And now it's kind of the time to see what has formed out of this neutral, untouched space after this pause that I have given myself. What is the data? What is the information? What have I recollected? And does anything need to be done? There's obviously 2 things will happen. You will be like, it's done with. I was able to regulate myself and now I'm going to move on. I'm going to move forward from now. Or number 2 is, okay, now it's done with and I need to make some choices. I need to make some changes. Normally, at least it was in my case, that I was like, okay, either there's going to be damage control or there's going to be what do I need to do or set in motion so that this will never happen to me again. And the first step that I took, or that you can take, is to consider what's the one thing that I need to change today so that I can sleep better this evening. I'm not looking at a huge, big shift. I'm just looking at what will take this down. Now that I'm in the pause, now that I have a right perspective, now that my frequency has regulated, what is going to be my one shift that I know sleep will come to me better this evening? I will be, without anything going through my mind, thinking this day could have been used for that, or this was the day for that. You can do that throughout a period of weeks and take it step by step. Be like, only this day, what is the new choice I need to make? Then the next day, what is the choice that I can make? And so on. After that, I have some of the choices that you can make. So I'll just read you that little list. 1 can be that to set up a therapeutic session. So now you're ready to work with it. Number 2, you can call a friend if you decide that I don't want to be alone. I don't want to do this process. Make the moves to take action with, if you're going to expand your social circle, or the reverse. Now I need to be alone and I need to be without this person so that I can sleep better. Number 3, take the next day off for emotional mourning. This one should go all the way to number 1, right? But since we're just considering the shifts, they're not really by days, but if you decide, okay, now I need to take a day to process this through, and you've taken back your normal life. That was one of the actions that we did in one of the stairs. Now, do I need to take a day off to really process this whole thing? So take that day off if you need the day off. Do you need to plan a bean jar? We learned that if the thoughts keep coming in your mind, plan your bean jar, especially if there's an activity that triggers you. Then you say, oh, whenever I have to do this in the afternoon, that's when I need my bean jar, because I noticed that that's when late at night for me was the worst, right? I start off the day great. They say also as time progresses throughout the day, your ability to make better and clearer decisions diminishes because you go through decision fatigue. So it applies in diets. Now, so if at the beginning in my diet, I was in the morning, I'm like, I'm not going to eat that. I don't need that. And then you have the willpower. By the time it's the evening, if you haven't put that in a place or gotten rid of it so that it will not be eaten, it's most likely that it will happen. So if you've been trying to avoid making the call that you said that you were not going to call, or the confrontation that you know would only lead to more drama, make sure you have the bean jar ready to see how many times am I thinking to do this thing that I know will affect me poorly, will have a bad benefit in the end. And normally for me, that was in the nighttime. In the nighttime, I would be making these poor decisions. And that's when I applied the bean jar. And that's it. So after you plan for the day, you can implement the change weekly. Then I say you can move through, like, you can go up the levels of change. So what's one thing then that I need to do that will change this whole week? Is it taking a course or signing up for something or leaving something that I was doing? It's either going to be taking something up or letting something go for that whole week. Now, these are more major changes. Then you can expand to if the decision that impacts a whole month, and then a decision obviously that will impact a year and maybe the rest of your life. I did add to this last step to take time to celebrate. A lot of times we go through something like this and we're so glad we survived and made it through that we're just then right back into getting back to where we were. It's almost like you feel you lost time going through this emotional crisis, and now I have to recuperate that time because of what happened, or do all the damage control, seal that all back up, and now finally I get to go forward again from where I was, but now I've wasted a whole week or more having to deal with this situation. And then there's no time to celebrate the fact that you managed that. You got over that. You were able to cultivate resilience and refine your character and all the things that you learned, and you grew internally with yourself. And you need to do something kind, generous, thoughtful unto yourself. Sometimes I believe there comes in a little bit of the masochism, like they punished me with this emotional crisis, because we tend to think we didn't give it to ourselves, right? We're like, it happened to me. And then since I'm in this mode that this is what's happening to me, then I continue to move forward in the mode of, and going forward, it can be just as painful, or I'll fall into some other emotional crisis. So take the time to celebrate, because this will shift your mindset to saying, it doesn't have to be like this the next time. I've already learned and have all these skills how to manage it. Now I can go into it. The next time will be different. So I'm preparing for you all of the steps here in this 7-step to go upward into the last one, which is time for change, or it's resolved. You've already changed throughout the process, and I'm working on seeing how to deliver that. But I loved doing these 7 stairs of emotional crisis, because as I went through each of the steps, I was able to see how the course of high frequency vibration really avoids this from happening in the first place. Because if an emotional crisis hits me and I'm low, then that's when it dips, right? That's when it takes me under. But if an emotional crisis hits me and I'm high, it's just a little swoop, and then I'm back up. So the course is actually in my YouTube link in the description for holding the high vibration throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your life. This is available, and it's being structured right now. So if you're looking for something where you're like, I don't want to go back down there, I don't want to see or feel what that's like again, then Becoming Vibrant, that's the name of the course. Becoming Vibrant is the key course to keep the physical level up, emotional, spiritual, and the mental. Those are the 4 pillars. I am adding another pillar at the end, which is the career and the work frequency vibration, because at this stage of the era of the century of the human being, I believe we should all be moving into a work, a job, a career that we're passionate about and that we love. And if we're not doing this, or we're still searching for it, this can also be something that is holding our vibration down. So check out the course if you're interested in holding high vibration. And that's an interesting technique there on how to maintain it, not just with physical effort, but also with how much ease and pleasure needs to be integrated. Just like I said with the end here, celebrate. Go and celebrate, because today you woke up stronger than yesterday, and tomorrow will be the same. All right, take care.